This son of a bitch Trump is ruining our lives. Hurry up, son. Let's get the hell out of here.
Mom, I'm not your son.
Okay, so are you my daughter?
I'm neither.
Whatever the fuck you are, hurry up! We're going to friggin' Ireland! Trump is about to be sworn in. We gotta go.
Oh my God, step on it. There's a spot.
Got it. Luggage, quick. Go, go. Out of the way. Trump is about to be sworn in. Which gate? Keep going.
You excited for Ireland, sweetie?
Yeah, what's so special about it?
It's the land of castles and fairies. It's just a magical place.
Wow, really? Fairies? Mom, this doesn't look like castles. Where's the leprechauns and cool things?
Oh, just wait. The good parts are coming. Oh, ah! Oh my God, Mom, we're soaked. Oh, great, just great. Let's just find some cover. This son of a bitch Trump is...
What's up, everybody? Great to see you. Yes, I heard she came back. From Ireland. It's so great to see everybody here. Les Paul says, I saw Mike Lindell's promising amnesty. Oh, I hope not. Great to see you, Les Paul. The Finch, what's up? Good evening. Howdy, Mr. Sneaky Sean. Great to see you. Sherry Gatlin says, hey there, y'all. Great to see you. Thanks for the links, Gundam. Thanks, Mrs. Gatlin. Miss Gatlin. I don't know if it's Mrs. or Miss. I shouldn't be presumptive, but I'll just call you Sherry. How's that? Miss Hacker, how you doing, Pat? Great to see you. American Dreamer, what's up? Great to see you. Dan, what's going on? Check the Cash App. Will do. Thank you so much. Lurch Linger, that's right. Hello. Make sure everybody hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Shadow Wings is here. Hey, I've been on Replay Coup, bored all weekend. Then everyone went live at the same time yesterday. Yes, I hate when that happens. COD for cause of death for Kaylee Hoddle is multiple blunt force trauma and labeled an accident. Investigation continues. Yeah, I think she was the only one who got really hurt bad. She was a passenger. I wonder if she just didn't have a seatbelt on, got ejected or something, or got bounced around the car. None of your business. Great to see you. Let's listen to Jim. Phil Coggins is here. At least she stuck to the bit and actually moved, unlike others. Yeah, you can add credit to that. So there is a goal. I will get to S.E. Gatlin's Cash App in 1 second, but there is a goal, as there is every night. For each $100 in total that comes in across all platforms, YouTube Super Chats, Rumble Rants, along with becoming a member or gifting a membership on YouTube, Rumble, Kick, and Twitch, along with Locals coins or becoming a member on Local. Also, I forgot about that. And Cash App, PayPal, Coffee, Ko-Fi, and Super Tips. We add it all up. When we hit 100, we add an extra hour. For each additional 100 that comes in, we add an additional hour to the show. So it could be 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 6, 8, 10, 12. You name it, it's up to you. And as a bonus, when we hit 50, we activate Bellavision. Or if an individual person gives $25 or greater, we automatically activate Bellavision for the evening. And we had our first donation of the evening from Miss S.E. Gatlin, from Sherry Gatlin. of $10 on Cash App. Thank you so much. So that means right now, folks, we are 90 away from adding a first additional hour and just 40 away from Bellavision. Yes, just 40 away from Bellavision. I do have a couple other videos I wanted to, quick little funny videos I thought were funny that I wanted to play. So we'll do that really quick. Jim have sent you Mike Lindell's amnesty proposal. Okay. Have I seen it? No, I haven't seen it. I would be very interested to see it. So yeah, so real quick here, we'll do this. We'll do this one first.
You know why I pulled you over? Ma'am, do you know why I pulled you over?
I'm a sir.
Well, ma'am, we honestly couldn't see you. We thought this damn thing was driving itself.
I just told you I'm a friggin' sir.
Okay, ma'am, step out of the vehicle for me. Stand over here. She's acting irate.
I'm a he.
All right, sir.
Stop misgendering me.
Dispatch, vehicle wasn't autonomous after all.
I'm a he. Stop misgendering me.
All right, sir, calm down. Dispatch, ma'am, do you know why?
And then to go along with this one, we have the opposite of the spectrum. All right.
Taper on the sides. What's good, bro? Taper on the sides?
Yeah, man. Y'all boys getting a fresh lineup today?
We're women. Stop calling us men.
No, he said they're women.
I'm a she. Stop misgendering us. We're women.
What's good?
So yeah, it's a little fun and games at the beginning of the show. Yes, very funny. Scary but upbeat for later. Okay, we'll check it out. Wow, that's crazy. So let's get it. Hey, Jonathan, great to see you. Awesome to have you. Rodney, you too. Let's get into the first news story of the evening. What do you say? Huh. So President Trump went to when they received the bodies of lost service members. They have a ceremony, and Trump went there today for the 4 bodies of the Americans that died in Jordan and Iraq. Kofi, great to see you. Thanks for being here.
Emotional moments at the Dover Air Force Base in Delaware as President Donald Trump pays respects to 4 fallen U.S. service members. The 4 soldiers came from communities across the country, from Hawaii to New York. The youngest among them was Private Isabella Gonzalez, just 19 years old, from Carlton, Texas, who was remembered by the high school where she graduated just last year. The school writing, she answered the call to serve the United States Army. She gave her life in that service, and our district is heartbroken by her loss. This marks the 3rd time that the president has attended a dignified transfer since the war began, with the total U.S. death toll reaching 18 service members.
For me, it's one of the hardest things to do as a president, but has to be done.
The U.S. and Iran have been exchanging attacks for nearly 2 weeks, and the president is again ramping up his rhetoric, saying on Tuesday that the U.S. would soon target Pickaxe Mountain, where the administration claims a nuclear facility is located. And on Wednesday morning, the president said the U.S. would start targeting Iranian bridges or power plants if Iran continues to strike ships in the Strait of Hormuz. An Iranian spokesperson saying that their response would be a, quote, eye for an eye. President Trump has made similar threats to infrastructure before, including when he said in April that a whole civilization would die in Iran before backing off. Targeting civilian infrastructure is considered a war crime under international law, all as the cost of the war keeps rising. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth revealing on Tuesday that the war's cost has risen to $37.5 billion so far. The renewal of hostilities also sending oil prices higher yet again due to blockades of the Strait of Hormuz. And just this week, a new blockade was announced by the Houthis, an Iran-backed militant group, which said it would block Saudi shipping through the Bab al-Mandeb, another crucial waterway which connects the Red Sea with the rest of the world.
And on Wednesday, we also saw a major change in U.S. nuclear policy. The Associated Press reporting that President Trump approved of a deal with Saudi Arabia that could allow the U.S. ally to enrich its uranium. This came as a surprise to some, since the president has said the primary purpose of the Iran war is to keep that country from developing a nuclear program. In Washington, I'm Evan Kozlov for Spectrum News.
So Trump and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth saluted the U.S. Army carry team as the transfer case containing the remains of First Lieutenant Tyler James Fian from Ewa Beach, Florida, came to Dover. President Trump on Wednesday honored the lives of the 4 service members who were killed in the Middle East and returned to their family at the Air Force Base in Delaware. The president saluted as the 4 transfer cases were escorted off the airplane. Yes, B-52s, where are you? That's where they need to be. They definitely need to be. American Dreamer says one of the families came to the rally today. Where was the rally at? Where was the rally at? Give me more information. American Dreamer, thank you so much. With 1 Jim Tells You membership, that means we are now 84 away from adding a first additional hour and 34 away from Bellavision. Thank you so much. And that first membership went to None Ya Business. None Ya Business is now a member of the JimTellsYou, thanks to American Dreamer. Thank you, American Dreamer, and welcome, None Ya Business. I made it. Lady Bam is here. That's great. We need to shred their rallies and their rails and bridges. Show slow down the Chi-Com resupply. Yes. Cesium Cat, great to see you. And then we got another one here. We got another gifted membership. Thank you so much. Which means we are now just 20. I'm sorry. We are now $78 away from adding a first additional hour and 28 away from Bellavision. And the person who received that gift was Dirty Sip 22. Dirty Sip 22 is now a member of the JimTellsYou. Thank you so much, American Dreamer, and welcome, Dirty Sip 2. It was in Marietta, Georgia. Okay, that's I got relatives in Marietta. It was the third one Trump has attended since he launched the war in Iran in February. President Trump honored the lives of the 4 U.S. service members killed in the Middle East and returned to their families at the Air Force Base in Delaware. Trump traveled to Dover Air Force Base in Delaware to be present as the remains of the troops killed in action are returned to their families. Meant rail lines, back in autocorrect. Yeah, I knew what you meant. I said rail, right? Railroads, I think. Yeah, I think so. The ritual is one of the most somber duties of a commander-in-chief. It will be the third that Trump has attended since he launched the war in Iran. Speaking to reporters, Trump called it one of the hardest things to do as a president. His message to the grieving families will be, we love you, we love your child. So Trump was scheduled to meet privately with the grieving families. Speaking to reporters on his way to Dover, he called the ritual one of the hardest things to do as a president. There's no games. There's nothing. That's their child. All you can do is throw out your heart. Yeah. Or you could be like Biden and just keep checking your watch, because that's what Biden did. Remember? You guys remember Biden just checking his watch? Just checking his watch. On the news, they said it was the first time attending. No, it's the third time. Third time. Just since this started. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there was somebody who died during his first term in Africa, I believe. Some people died, and he went and did the same thing then. Trump was accompanied by administration officials, including the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and General Dan Raisin Kane, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Also present were Senator Tom Tillis and Senator Chris Coons. Tillis should have went away. Tillis should have been told, don't come. He brought them from Dover on Air Force One. Oh, Trump brought the family to Marietta on Air Force One. Oh, that was nice of him. During the ritual, transfer cases draped with the American flag and holding remains of a fallen soldier are carried from the aircraft that transported them to awaiting vehicles to take them to mortuary facilities at the base. There, the service members are prepared for their final resting place. So fallen troops came from Hawaii, Texas, New York, and North Carolina. Oh, so that's why Tillis was there. Someone was from North Carolina. So 2 U.S. soldiers killed in Iranian missile drone attacks in Jordan were returned during the dignified transfer. The remains of a third service member who is believed to be a soldier missing after the Jordanian attacks was also returned, as well as the remains of a soldier killed in Iraq during the detonation of an Iranian drone. The soldier killed in Jordan were identified by the Defense Department as Tyler James Fian, 25, of Ewa Beach, Hawaii; Isabel Gonzalez, 19, of Carrollton, Texas. The soldier who disappeared after the Jordan attack is Angel S. Rampersad, 28, of Ozone Park, New York. The soldier killed in Iraq was identified as Michael Emmanuel Swinton, who lived in Spring Lake, North Carolina. Yeah, 2 soldiers fell off a small cliff in North Africa, not combat related. The soldier's mother was so brave. The White House said Fian's family would be joining on Air Force One later on Wednesday as Trump travels to Georgia for an event promoting his administration's investment accounts for children. Trump previously said the soldiers died while protecting America and other nations from Iran. We feel very badly, but you know, these great people, those great patriots were out there fighting so that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. He added that the U.S. was striking Iran in honor of the fallen troops. Trump vows to retaliate for each U.S. death. They fell into the Mediterranean. Arizona whistleblower says Native Americans were drugged. What? Drugged by who? I don't know, man. U.S. launched multiple retaliatory strikes against Iran as an interim agreement to end the war falls apart. Trump said on Monday that every time Iran kills a soldier, they will pay for that killing many times over. Since the war began, 18 U.S. service members have been killed. Trump on Tuesday said that while most of the incoming fire in Jordan was stopped, some made it through. They did slip something through in Jordan. If we had other operators, you know, it would not have happened, unfortunately. We stopped almost everything, but when you let other people do your job with the United States, we let other people do the job, and sometimes it doesn't work out so well. So I think what he's saying is that some of the other operators of like the Patriots or the other stuff weren't Americans. They were other countries, and they didn't do. They weren't up to snuff. They I don't know. That's what he's saying. HJ Remy, hello. How's everybody doing? Great to have you here. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for being here. So Trump did not elaborate on his comments, and it was not immediately clear who he was saying was responsible for protecting U.S. forces in Jordan. Well, probably the Jordanians. Not that Karen, what's up? Hello to my fellow anti-communists. That's right. There's only one way to get rid of the communists, and it involves a helicopter. Hello, everyone. Jordan didn't protect our base. Really? That's a problem. Thank you for the comment, America First. Trump attended 2 previous dignified transfers since the onset of war, most recently in March. The soldier had planned to marry a fiance and attend law school. The first lieutenant who was killed Saturday will be posthumously promoted to the rank of captain, awarded a Bronze Star, Purple Heart, and Combat Action Badge. He was assigned out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina, to the 32nd Army Air and Missile Defense Command. Fian's family said in a statement that their hearts were shattered by his loss. They remember Fian, who went by TiVo, as someone who packed in more living in his 25 years than most do in a lifetime. He chased adventure relentlessly. He believed deeply in the power of military service, especially what it builds in a person: discipline, leadership, and character. Wow. Hey, Sylvia, how you doing? Hello from South California. California. Thank you. I guess it was Hezbollah that hit our base, or was it Iran? I don't know. He planned to marry his fiancée and attend law school after his deployment, the family said. They're starting a scholarship in his name. Gonzalez, who was killed Friday, was a private with the 10th Army Air and Missile Defense Command in Ansbach, Germany. She graduated last year from Hebron High School in Carrollton, near Dallas. Rampersad, a sergeant who is believed to have been killed in Friday's attacks, was assigned to the 57th Air Defense Artillery Regiment, 52nd Air Defense Artillery Brigade, 10th Army Air and Missile Defense Command in Ansbach, Germany. Swinton, a sergeant who was killed Sunday, will receive a Bronze Star, Purple Heart, Combat Action Badge, and will be promoted to Staff Sergeant. He enlisted in the Army in 2017, was assigned to the 55th Air Defense Artillery Regiment, 108th Air Defense Artillery Brigade out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina. I want to thank everyone who came over from Watching the Watchers, Robert Cavea. If you haven't been here before, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving us a like. It really helps to promote out the content, to get more views on it, more eyes on the content. I do these shows pretty much nightly. Pretty much nightly. I might miss a night here or there, but mainly every night, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. and Saturdays and Sundays, at 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock, whenever I have the time to get it going. So please stick around for a little while. We go over a lot of news. We cover a lot of topics. I participate in the chat as much as possible and answer questions. And it's a lot of fun. We're building a community, and we hope you'll stay and be part of it. Hey, Texas and Oklahoma, how you doing? Great to see you. Rodney says, Jim's a gas. Rule says, Antifa retards don't know what a fascist is. That's true. They don't know. Helicopter rides come with free swimming lessons. It's a package deal. Brenda Ty, what's up? How you doing? Howdy, howdy, howdy. Great to see you. It's so nice to have everybody here from watching the watchers. Right now, we're talking about the dignified transfer of the soldiers that were killed in Jordan, Iraq over the weekend. Same thing with the AP. Just says Trump pays his respect to the 4 service members killed in the Middle East. Taps should be playing, right? Or something. Why is there no sound? Associated Press couldn't afford sound, I guess. It's extremely sad anytime we lose anyone in the service to our country, especially when it's a 19-year-old, young people with their whole lives ahead of them. This is sad. Iran must pay. And then Israel, the next story of the evening is that Israel believes Iran moved its nuclear material inside Pickaxe Mountain site last year. So all this stuff happened, and now they're saying they moved it somewhere else. Did they? I mean, depends. Sometimes it doesn't play. I hate watching this. Yes, I hate watching it, but we owe it to them to watch. When they stop Congress from illegal voters from voting, we have a right to know who's voting in our elections, transparency and integrity in our elections. Why would they block the identity of voters? Yeah, I don't. It doesn't make sense to me why they would block identity of voters. It really doesn't. So, Israeli intelligence officials believe Iran moved thousands of centrifuges used to enrich uranium deep inside the so-called Pickaxe Mountain site this past fall, raising fears that the Islamic Republic can quickly reconstitute its nuclear program. I may be wrong, but Taps is played at the gravesite. Well, yes, it's played at the gravesite, but there should be something playing, right? There's something that should be playing when you're transferring them, I would think. How do we stop Iran from launching missiles? Destroy all their missile launchers, I guess. Destroy all their missiles. The intelligence has been passed to the U.S., the Wall Street Journal reported Tuesday, though it's unclear what, if any, action will come of it. In an interview with conservative radio host Hugh Hewitt, President Trump called Pickaxe Mountain a possible target for a nice big fat shot right in the front door. And I think that maybe you'll see that.
What is your takeaway from now a ninth night of bombing in Iran? Where have we progressed to if they're still able to fire off rockets and disrupt shipping?
Well, first of all, let's recognize the 3 service members that were lost. This is what it means when we send young men and women into harm's way. Some of them may lose their lives. We need to remember their families in prayer. Secondly, to answer your question, it looks like the president has made the decision that Iran truly is not a partner in any way for peace. So, look, there are 2 main priorities. First of all, is to get the oil through the Strait of Hormuz. We may control it, but commercial risk, is going to determine whether ships decide to go through the strait. Remember, 20% of the world's oil goes through the Strait of Hormuz. Secondly, that 900 pounds or so of 60% enriched uranium that they still own. That's what the president looks like he's focused on, as he should be, because it is a short step from 60% to the 90% that would be weapons grade.
I thought they played
to have a centrifuge to do it, but that is concerning. And if we're going to truly say that they cannot have a nuclear weapon, we have to focus on that 60% enriched uranium.
Congressman, back at home, there is a recent Washington poll that's showing rapidly declining approval for how the president has handled the conflict with Iran. Just 29% of Americans still support the president over the war, while 69% disapprove. So for context, those figures were at 33 and at 66% respectively back in late April. So how much of this could impact the midterm elections in your view?
It is a real concern because people are more concerned about domestic issues, and I get that. Certainly the gas prices are in your face every single day. So we do need to get Iran settled one way or the other. We do not want another forever war in the Middle East. So whatever we do, we need to decide it. We need to find a place where we can be comfortable and focus on the midterms. That is a true statement because the American people want gas prices down. They want food prices down. They want to recognize that their lives are getting better.
Well, I hope so. That's what we want, people's lives to get better. So Iran is believed to have moved thousands of its uranium enrichment centrifuges into the tunnels deep inside Pickaxe Mountain. The site's located in the mountains about 1 mile south of an Iranian nuclear complex at Natanz. It was used to conceal the centrifuges after Operation Midnight Hammer and the 12-day war. President Trump said after the attacks last summer that their nuclear capabilities at Fordo and Natanz and Isfahan were obliterated. I mean, you guys realize, Congress didn't oppose the invasion of the unvaccinated immigrants shipped all over the unvaxxed during the pandemic. Yeah, they didn't. Do you want them to play Macarena? Solemn means quiet. Tap should be the only thing and the only at the height of the service. I see a Moab being used at Pickaxe. It's possible. Possible. They'll probably use, they got 20,000 pound bunker busters. So they'll use those. Kaboom the whole place. Yeah. And the Democrats fell for it and tried to make us vaccinate. These people are, I think they're letting Iran dig Pickaxe out a little so we'll be able to destroy their equipment as a bonus. Yeah, I hope so. Remember Afghanistan and our troops, God bless America and all the working class people all over the world. Yeah. Snow Baby says, blow up Karg Island and be done with them. They should take Karg Island. And once you have Karg Island, Iran has no money. They can't do anything. Garfield says, midterms are coming. Trump and Republicans need to end this war before then. Otherwise, Democrats will take a majority and they'll keep trying to impeach Trump. Well, they probably will. Salty C says, turn those mountains into piles of sand. Trump, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, but I don't have all the information they have and I don't have all the facts, but I don't think that they did this whole 60-day cooling off period that they were doing. Remember, it was like the ceasefire that went on and just kept getting extended. They should have just went all the way right in the beginning and just been like, it's all or nothing. I don't know. But hey, that's what this idiot thinks on the internet. Me. So Trump said earlier this month they're prepared to attack Pickaxe Mountain, while Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu called for broader attacks on Iran to push back against its weapons programs. Trump told Hugh Hewitt that Pickaxe is a possible target for a nice big fat shot. He had not previously identified the mountain as a target, but he has mentioned an Iranian underground facility buried in granite. Pickaxe is known as Mount Kolong in Iran has been under U.S. and Israeli surveillance. The site was commissioned to replace an Iranian centrifuge assembly location that was damaged in a 2020 explosion, widely believed to have been the result of sabotage. I think that would have been maybe the. No, that wasn't Stuxnet. The complex is estimated to extend 300 to 450 feet beneath solid rock and has enough room for several nuclear facilities. Yes. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe and say hi to Jim and Bella. Yes. Make sure. Yeah, leaving comments on videos actually helps a lot. If you leave a comment on the video, so does liking and, participating in the chat. The more activity in the chat, the more likes, the more that YouTube thinks people like it and they'll push it out. And actually, pretty much all my activity has been 90% just coming from other people. Like other people send people here, other people like the raids and stuff. That's the only reason this channel has grown to what it is now, which I'll say it. The 60-day ceasefire was a mistake. Leaving Israel completely is a mistake. We need our own intelligence. Don't rely on anyone. Now bombs until we run out. Yeah. Here. Congress didn't oppose open borders. They didn't oppose balloons flying across the country and drones over New York, but they opposed identification of voters. What's the connection between the invasion? Timothy, I have a feeling maybe some of the people in Congress don't care. They're fine with it. Gundam says a Moab will do nothing. We'll need a lot of GBU 57A and Bs to get close to hurting that complex. Tattoo Lady for 800 gems says, turn it up. Well, thank you. Do you mean my volume needs to get turned up or something else? I don't know what this 800 gems is, though. I still haven't got an answer from YouTube what the gems relate to. They're either a penny a piece or nothing. The ceasefire could have been a reason to allow us to replenish our stockpile. How deep are the underground nuclear tests? I don't know. Hey, how you doing? Thanks. That's a beautiful dog you have there. Is that that's a Belgian, isn't it? Belgian Malinois, something like that. Malinois, ShamWow. Love you watching the watchers. Yes, thank you. Keep it going, Jim. If I can't sleep, neither can Jim. Well, thank you. With that too, that means we are now just 76 away from adding a first additional hour and 26 away from Bellavision. Thank you, Tattoo Lady. So Iran has denied seeking nuclear weapons, and still it has produced 1,000 pounds of uranium enriched to at least 60%, bringing it closer to weapons-grade material. Technically, they could make a weapon out of 60%. A lot of people try to ignore this. They're always talking about well, you need this 95% to make the small warhead for a missile. But you can make a big-ass bomb. It's not clear where the centrifuges Israel claims were taken to Pickaxe came from, but spare machines could have been at Iran's main nuclear sites. Yes, he's a canine police dog. Oh, that's awesome. Those are great. I love fur missiles. Homeland Security needs to enforce our rights to defend ourselves against domestic and foreign tyranny and abuse of our elections. We have the right to defend our elections. Yes, I agree. Garfield says, Trump needs to focus on domestic policy. Independents heavily disapprove of the war. Now Israeli politicians are saying they won't assist in Iran. Absolutely scummy for our ally. Oh, I don't know. What do you mean they won't assist? From what I understand, now maybe I'm wrong, that Jordan, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, the UAE, and Qatar all said that they would help on the ground in Iran, but not if Israel is participating, that they want Israel to stay out of it. So that's why Israel hasn't been doing much lately. I don't know. That's the reporting I've heard. I don't know. Meanwhile, Iran has not given the International Atomic Energy access to Pickaxe or provided them with information about its plans or work at the site. Director Rafael Grossi said in March that Iran announced in 2021 that it had the intention to have nuclear activity at Pickaxe. According to the Institution for Science and International Security, a think tank that examines nonproliferation and nuclear matters, that activity has continued at Pickaxe for the past 15 months, including a security perimeter and reinforced tunnels. Estimated our Pickaxe is over 80 meters deep, probably over 100 meters deep. GBU 57AB can do maybe 20 meters of penetration. Oh, well, I think you have to just drop them on top of each other then. You got to drop one, boom, another one down the same hole, boom, down the same hole, boom, just keep going. I guess. I mean, that's the only way. They won't assist in ground operations. They are also focused on Lebanon. Well, we don't want them really. We don't want the Israelis assisting with ground operations. We want the Arab states to do it. Don't ever rely on our government for your safety. Arm yourself. Yes. Work has been carried out around an older tunnel network. The network dates in 2007, and Iran has since sealed it. So David Albright conceded that it's plausible that Iran moved centrifuges to Pickaxe. Nate Swanson, who serves as the U.S. National Security Council Director for Iran during the Biden administration, agreed that Tehran's covert nuclear history means that any activity going on in the underground site like Pickaxe is a reason to be concerned. A covert breakout is the worst case scenario, he told the Wall Street Journal. You don't know what Iran's intentions are, but the fact that we can't verify the site underscores how problematic the status quo is. We have to have IEA in there to inspect these things. Pickaxe has not yet been targeted in the current conflict with Iran, which began February 28th. However, an Israeli military official familiar with targeting efforts said he was concerned that the airstrikes had not targeted Iran's nuclear weapons-related work. Well, it's very interesting. So we'll have to see what happens with this stuff.
President Trump is vowing severe retaliation against Iran for the deaths of U.S. service members. He's ordered the Pentagon to kill many times the number of Iranians for every U.S. soldier killed.
Meanwhile, Iran's allies in Yemen are expanding the war. The Houthis have announced a blockade on Saudi Arabian ships in the Red Sea. CBN Middle East correspondent Paul Petit has more from Jerusalem.
The war shows no signs of letting up as Iran responds to U.S. strikes with missile attacks across the region, setting off air raid sirens in Jordan overnight. The Pentagon has identified 2 U.S. soldiers killed by an Iranian missile that hit an American airbase in Jordan. First Lieutenant Tyler Feehan from Hawaii and 19-year-old Private Isabella Gonzalez of Carrollton, Texas.
In our hearts go out to his family. He's our hero. To pay the ultimate price.
Iranian attacks also left nearly 100 U.S. service members injured since early July, most suffering concussions or minor wounds. The Pentagon says 96% of them have returned to duty.
Nothing in the military does mistake. It's all inherently dangerous, and we're just grateful to have such heroic Americans in uniform in the service of our country.
President Trump ordering the Pentagon to kill many times the number of Iranians for every U.S. soldier killed. In Yemen, Iran's Houthi allies are escalating their own threats, announcing a blockade of Saudi oil shipments through the Red Sea. The move threatens another major global oil shipping route as the Strait of Hormuz remains under pressure.
Here in Jerusalem, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu convened his security cabinet Monday night in preparation should they enter the war. Netanyahu is also planning to visit Washington following today's expected meeting between President Trump and the president of Lebanon.
Trump took to Truth Social Monday to dismiss New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani's threat to arrest Netanyahu should he ever visit New York, writing that an arrest will never happen in any way, shape, or form. Israel's UN ambassador also weighing in.
The person who should be arrested is not our prime minister, is you, Mr. Mamdani.
Pakistan is stepping up its diplomatic efforts.
I think communists should be arrested. I think it should be a crime to be a communist in the United States, but that's just me.
And an Iranian official is in Islamabad meeting with the prime minister. Secretary Rubio says there's still room to talk peace, but the U.S. will not allow Iranian attacks on shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. Paul Petit, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Well, CBN Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell joins us now from Jerusalem. So, Chris, the war's back on. Do you think Israel, I mean, there's a lot of speculation, Israel will get back into the fighting. What's your take?
Well, just yesterday, Gordon, there was a long security cabinet meeting. One minister coming out of that meeting said that they actually enjoy the status quo, that being the U.S. is fighting Iran and also a naval blockade on the regime. But Israel is ready to get back in the fighting if necessary. The question may be if President Trump gives them the green light. If Israel does enter the war, they're promising it won't be like before. Prime Minister Netanyahu said, if we have to return, we'll return with even greater force. We've changed the face of the Middle East and changed the face of Iran. And Defense Minister Israel Katz said, the long arm of Israel will reach Tehran again with even greater force, and had a specific warning to the Iran's leadership. One other thought, Gordon, it's also a question if the war does come to Israel. So far, Iran has hit almost every country in the region but Israel, and it leads many to believe Iran is really afraid of what Israel would do if it hits Iran again.
Do you think it's likely that they'll bring Israel into it? I mean, it seems like the in past conflicts, just this past year with Israel, they've been on the losing side of this. Are they just showing restraint, or are they really afraid of what Israel would do?
I think they're both showing restraint.
I thought they did too. They kept saying they keep taking them out. I don't know where they keep getting them from. They must be underground. So we need to figure out like where these underground storage places are, and we need to be blowing those up too. I mean, I agree. I thought they didn't have any capability to do this again. What's up, CF Rob? Great to see you. Thanks for being here. That's right. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Communism and Islam are antithetical to Western civilization, yet we keep importing them. We need to stop. Communism is illegal. The Communist Act of 1954. I think a lot of it was ruled unconstitutional. Iran will make a great underground parking lot. Yes, red alert. That's how that's what I say. Thank you. Why has Trump continued to allow Iran to exist? Well, we don't want to kill all the people in Iran, just the people running the country, I guess. China by train, blow up the railways, duh. CBN News, amen.
Right, but also it's the deterrence that Israel has really established, and not only the 12-day war in June of 2025, but the 39-day war here in 2026. I really think they're afraid that if Israel does get back, they're really going to hit Iran very, very hard.
Well, let's turn to the Houthis. So far in this conflict,
the Houthis and the blowfish. What about the blowfish? If we're going to talk about the Houthis, you got to talk about the blowfish. They make some good music.
We haven't heard much from them, but now they're coming out strong. They're blockading Saudi ships in the Red Sea, threatening to close the Suez Canal. It just is incredible that they're now coming into play. So what impact would them participating and carrying out on this threat, what would that have on the war?
Well, the Houthis say they're imposing the blockade in retaliation for what they call Saudi Arabia's cooperation and with the United States and Israel, and especially Riyadh letting its airspace and infrastructure to support those operations against not only Iran but Yemen. Saudi denies that, but the Houthis are really raising the cost.
I agree.
I think, Gordon, the bigger picture and the impact it's going to have is it's much more about Saudi Arabia. The Houthis are really Iran's most capable proxy outside Lebanon, and they're opening up another front in the conflict. So by threatening the ships entering or leaving Saudi ports, they're really targeting one of the world's most important energy and trade routes through what's called the Bab el-Mandab Strait that's in the Red Sea. You know, about 12% to 15% of global trade moves through there, 30% of container traffic. So really, this is Iran raising the stakes to raise the shipping costs, insurance costs.
Real quick, I want to address this. Spud says Hochul has no choice but to back Mandami and try to arrest Bibi. She has been very successful in thumbing her nose at Trump, so she has nothing to lose, and she needs the commie base to win. Anybody who tried to arrest Bibi, a state police officer or a local police officer, metropolitan, whatever you want to call it, they would actually be guilty of kidnapping, a federal crime. They have no authority to do these things. They have no legal authority to do it. So trying to do it would basically be kidnapping, and be an international incident. Would also be, other things could come into play, like, treason. They're basically giving aid and comfort to this ICC, which has no authority in the U.S. U.S. is sovereign, so they're giving up U.S. sovereignty to someone else. It's kind of a violation of their oath of office. So charge them with treason. Gundam says, digging around, no pun intended, granite depth in some spots around Pickaxe, maybe 600 meters thick. If they went under that, good luck. shy of making a borehole, nuke in a picker barrel, and pray. Yeah. Well, there's ways. You can hit it enough, you could basically collapse it. There are ways. There's good people. Drop them some arms, and they'll revolt. Well, they tried. I think he has diplomatic immunity. Yeah, and anything it would be kidnapping. Exactly. Yeah. It was, Jim, but only the lower courts. It's never been ruled on by the Supreme Court. The Democrats just ruling his laws on us, so do it to them too. Don't say that out loud. They may figure it out in real time. I'd like them to figure it out in real time. That'd be great.
As an energy cost worldwide, and I believe that's why the Houthis are getting involved right now, because of what Iran is telling the Houthis what to do.
Well, does this raise the implication or maybe the prospect that Saudi Arabia would get involved and deploy troops to take care of the Houthis in Yemen?
It remains to be seen. They've been at war for a long time, Saudi Arabia and the current government, I should say the Houthis in Yemen. There is another legitimate government in Yemen as well. But I think it's possible that Saudi does get involved more into the fray right now, especially against the Houthis. But we'll see. As I said, they've been going at it for many, many years.
Well, the Knesset has dissolved itself, so just Israeli politics is once again hard to figure out. So we're going to have October 27th. We're going to have new election. Do you think Netanyahu will once again be able to form a coalition government, or is he on the way out?
Well, it remains to be seen. I mean, if you look at the polls right now, Gordon, he doesn't get to the 61 seats necessary to start another government. It remains to be seen. All
right. Well, I don't really care about Israeli politics, so it's Garfield said, sorry. Iran doesn't need to destroy U.S. ships or carriers. They are squeezing the oil markets and hurting Americans economically. They are biding time till the election and hope Trump loses the majority. That doesn't really help them, though. It really doesn't. But the people hurting the worst by all this is actually China. China had to cut back like 40 or 50% of their energy production. They had to shut down power plants. They had to shut a bunch of shit down. Yeah, it has just been revoked. I got diplomatic immunity. That was a great movie. Lethal Weapon 2. Right? Yeah, Lethal Weapon 2, when they were going for Cougarans. So, but we're still paying less for oil and gas than we were in 2022. Just saying. Let's be honest, Trump is going to steamroll them. I hope so. So, speaking of that, Trump says he will hit Iran's Pickaxe Mountain very heavily as soon as Israeli intelligence suggested Iran's building a nuclear program. So Trump said, we're going to take out Pickaxe Mountain. Trump doubled down.
This is why you should never trust your electric bills after the COVID pandemic.
Do you believe that Iran has moved nuclear centrifuges into Pickaxe Mountain? And when you say we're not done yet, what is left to finish?
Well, I think that they may have. We don't have it on record. All we do is read the fake news. We see the news is so wrong so many times. So, maybe this one they have right, but it's okay. It doesn't mean anything unless they have the material. You're talking about the centrifuges. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything unless they have the material. They don't have. We follow the material. That's where the action is, and we'll be hitting that area probably pretty soon. And there's not a thing they can do about it. Normally I wouldn't say that. If I thought they could do something about it, I would never say that. But we'll be hitting that area pretty soon, and very heavily.
Wow. U.S. is not finished at all in Iran. Pickaxe Mountain strikes coming pretty soon. President Trump declared that he's not finished. They're going to hit the fortified Pickaxe Mountain very soon. Same thing from New York Post. Pickaxe Mountain sites are going to be getting hit pretty soon. I have to report about the centrifuges and stuff. So That was an ad there. What do you know? I'm not going to sit here through this whole ad like this. Are you serious? Jim Oberweis for Congress. Dude, don't you make milk in like Wisconsin or Illinois? Oberweis guy? Another Oberweis commercial? I don't like this Oberweis guy. He was trying to run for Congress when I lived in Illinois. It's like he followed me to Florida. Now he wants to be a congressman in Florida too. What are you doing?
Thank you for the question. Do you believe that Iran has moved nuclear centrifuges into Pickaxe Mountain? And when you say we're not done yet, what is left to finish?
Well, I think that they may have. We don't have it on record. All we do is read the fake news. You know, maybe this one they have right, but it's okay. It doesn't mean anything. And I understood how.
Hold on, right here. I want to go to where.
Very heavily.
Please go ahead. Trump, 2 years ago during the campaign, I interviewed you and you told me on MTV Lebanon that the peace will happen in Lebanon. And every word you said during the interview, it's happening today. Like from the first day in the administration, you were working hard for peace.
It's true.
Because
I understood Lebanon, and I understood how horribly Lebanon has been treated as a country. They've been like a whipping post. What's happened with Iran and with Hezbollah, but Lebanon's been treated very incredibly badly. And maybe I'm a little prejudiced in favor of Lebanon because I have so many Lebanese friends. There's so many Lebanese friends, and so I understand Lebanon. Tom Barrack is Lebanese, the ambassador.
Regarding the Lebanese army, President Amla, the Lebanese army currently have the funding, equipment, and manpower necessary to implement the agreement. Or you are asking today President Trump for additional U.S. assistance today to do the job?
Definitely, with the support of President Trump, and we spoke over on the phone, and I told him I need two things from you: political support and supporting of the LAF, which is the LAF is the most trusted institution in the country, and it has the most powerful weapon, which is the trust of the public. Like any armed forces in the world, the Lebanese armed forces and stability. We need to support the LAF. The LAF maintain the country safe and stable. Without the LAF, everything.
Okay. No, stop. Get out of here. So. Okay. This is another report about Trump's going to target Pickaxe Mountain. And then Trump also said he's going to hit power plants and bridges if Tehran attacks ships. The targets can include sites near Iran's capital, which, I mean, I guess, this is what they need, more of this. So President Trump on July 22nd, which was today, warned Iran's regime that the United States would target the country's infrastructure. Another ad for that same guy, ain't it? Isn't that ridiculous? Please give the order to arrest Bibi. I can't wait. Do it, Zamboni. Do it. I dare you. The Chinese, Russian, and Sicilian mafias are in cahoots with the communists. If they weren't, they would have sent Madami swimming with sonnet speakers. Power makes strange bedfellows. Maybe. So, as the fighting continued for an 11th consecutive day, July 22nd, social media post, Trump wrote the possible targets could be bridges and power plants. Some of them will be targeted in Tehran or close to the capital city. From this point forward, anytime the IRGC shoots a ship in the strait, whether it be by missile, rocket, or drone, or any other device or weapon, the United States will bomb and destroy one bridge or power plant, including those next to or in the capital city of Tehran. So CENTCOM on July 21st confirmed that the 11th night of strikes against Iran that it stated were meant to further degrade their ability to threaten commercial shipping. Please try and arrest me. It'll be fun. I mean, the Secret Service protects them. So foreign dignitaries, the Secret Service protects foreign dignitaries when they're in the country. So it would be very, they'd be going against the Secret Service. Garfield says, Iran doesn't care. They have no problems letting their people get killed. They're religious zealots who will kamikaze themselves. Well, the problem is that they won't be able to hold on to power. They'll end up getting overthrown. I mean, that's the thing. They're either, the only way to win is going to be to force them to have to flee. I mean, people said the same thing about Saddam Hussein, the same thing about Gaddafi. Oh no, they'll never do this, they'll never do that, they'll never surrender, they'll do this. And then what happened? Both of those guys were found hiding in a ditch somewhere and were ended up quickly, dispatched. Hey, good evening, Jason. How you doing? Hope I had a great day. What's going on with the Houthis? Is this more big talk? Well, they're going to try to do stuff. The bottom line, though, is that in Yemen, there's nowhere to hide. It's not like there's huge mountains for them to hide behind or different places. They're all going to be out in the open. They don't have a tunnel network or anything like that. They don't have rock to dig into. It's deserts. So they have nowhere to hide if they try to pull anything. Please, Allah tells Zamboni to arrest Bibi. Tell him he can and should. So targets struck inside Iran include military operations centers and capabilities, aircraft hangars, drone storage, logistics. Like, I don't understand how they have more logistics left. They shouldn't have any logistics left at all. So in response, Iran's military has launched attacks against nearby countries. No, that's not true. We did not put a single ground force on the ground in Libya. We had 0 ground forces in Libya. None. The latest round of attacks was initiated after Tehran attacked multiple ships in the Strait. During remarks, Trump said that negotiations between them were unlikely to happen soon. He also said Iranian officials desperately want to meet for negotiations, although he confirmed that until they're ready to meet in a meaningful way, we have no interest in meeting. Through proxies. Okay, so we use proxies in Iran. We use the Saudis. We use the Emiratis. We use, the Jordanians. Pick them. Put chain guns on the tankers for missile and drones. That's not a bad idea. We could arm the tankers. But then again, if you arm the tankers, then they're no longer civilian. So it's like a catch-22. If you arm them, they're no longer considered civilian. Spud says they don't have to arrest Bibi, but there's plenty of kamikaze communists who will sacrifice themselves against the Secret Service, which could hurt Trump. Well, see, if something like that was to happen, those Spuds, that would basically signal that we are in an open revolution, an open war, open civil war, open insurrection, whatever you want to call it. And it would be invoke the Insurrection Act and start arresting the communists, including the ones that hold office. That's what I would do. That's me, what I say. But, we just need to drop off Uncle Sam's misguided children at Carg Island and they'll run out of money quick. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hootie and the Blowfish haven't had an album since 2019, just saying. Well, they're going to have some hits now. They're going to have some hits soon. Big hits. So since the conflict started, Trump said they can't have a nuclear weapon. They're going to hit Pickaxe Mountain really soon. Marco Rubio warned Asian leaders that Iran's demand to collect tolls would threaten the world's economy. If we create a precedent in the Middle East where a nation can decide that they're going to control an international waterway and charge a toll, if you don't pay them, blow up your ships, we've created a very dangerous precedent which will repeat itself in other parts of the world, including in this region. So the U.S. military stated that Strait of Hormuz, through with a significant portion of the world's traded oil travels, is open despite Iranian statements to the contrary. It stated that 900 commercial ships and 450 million barrels of oil have transited through the strait since May. It's leaflet time in Iran. Yeah. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. New York Post says Trump vows to destroy one Iranian bridge or power plant every time Iran takes a shot at a ship in the strait. Which, you got to follow through though when you say stuff like this. Trump vows to destroy a power plant or bridge for every ship Iran targets. You have to follow through though. You have to follow through. Trump threatens Iranian infrastructure after Houthis block Red Sea artery. So President Trump vowed on Wednesday to destroy an Iranian bridge or power plant every time Iran shoots at a ship in the Strait. 7 tankers have changed course in the Red Sea to avoid the Bab el-Mandeb Strait since the Houthis' threat on Tuesday to block the Saudi oil exports, highlighting a new risk to global oil supplies. In response, Trump threatened Iran's infrastructure. Iran's near total blockade of the Strait and Gulf has stoked inflation around the world. But is it a blockade? I mean, you're saying it's a blockade, but the CENTCOM is saying it's open. Is this like Schrodinger's Strait? It's open or closed depending on who's going near it. Why aren't the Dems crying over the dead fish from Iran targeting ships, or from them dumping their oil in? We're already in a cold civil war. Black Lives Matter already caused problems, and nothing happened to them. Well, so Brent crude hit 95 a barrel before easing back to 93 mid-morning. U.S. gas prices, which have weighed on Trump's poll numbers, have climbed back over $4. So not only is this stuff happening, and it's terrible, they need to get this under control fast. Hey, we've been going an hour, and just like that, Instagram just ended. So if you're on Instagram, sorry, you didn't even see it coming. I didn't see it coming either. So, and I will take this time to just say we've been going over a little over an hour. So keep that in mind. When I go fishing, I have a weapon for defensive water moccasins. Oh, awesome. Am I the only one who noticed Barnes changing his opinion on Iran? He previously said you can negotiate it away. Is now saying because of their religion they have a nuclear weapon. What? On to this next story. It's been reported that Chinese and Russian code was found in U.S. military apps. Taiwan's president calls to resist China's red terror.
Welcome to China in Focus. I'm Tiffany Meyer. Our top story, a new security concern for U.S. troops. Computer code from Chinese and Russian companies were found in apps made for people serving in the U.S. military. What the researchers found could put sensitive information and people's safety at risk. A call to resist pressure from communist China. Taiwanese President Lai Ching-te urged members of his party to oppose the red terror coming from Beijing.
We must work together and absolutely never allow democratic Taiwan to turn back and become China's Taiwan.
A diplomatic setback for Taiwan as the Pacific island nation Papua New Guinea closes its representative office under pressure from Beijing. As China threats grow, Taiwan's new drone coalition is moving fast in order to secure critical supply lines with international allies. And today marks the 27th anniversary of China's brutal persecution of Falun Gong practitioners. Lawmakers are commemorating this day alongside millions of Falun Gong practitioners.
A new security concern for U.S. troops. Computer code from Chinese and Russian companies was found in apps made for people serving in the military. Apps marketed to troops are shipping Chinese and Russian code. So there. First of its kind of analysis found more than 1 in 8 apps built for service members carried foreign code. Hey, we got 5 from Spuds. Treats for Bella, and it's rally time. Thanks, Spuds. With that 5 from Spuds, it means we're now just 71 away from adding a first additional hour and just 21 away from Bellavision. Thank you so much, Spuds. So CENTCOM says it warned that adversaries are using location data to target troops. Lawmakers urged the Pentagon to act, citing ad tech industry as a national security threat. Forces deployed to war zones have been targeted using commercially available location data, according to reports fielded by military officials. An illustration of how the global surveillance economy is shaping the battlefield. So Ron Wyden sent a letter saying it received multiple threats concerning adversary exploitation of commercial location data to target and surveil U.S. personnel in theater. That message was sent April 14th and offered no further specifics. So CENTCOM's area of responsibility includes the Gulf, where U.S. forces are facing off against Iranian military over the Strait of Hormuz. So are they using Russian and Chinese location data on apps that soldiers have on their phones? And is that how they're targeting these places? They're getting these people? Maybe. Disclosure was the first official confirmation forces have been targeted in an active war zone. Commercial location data can be used to identify where the troops congregate and their pattern of life, which can be exploited by adversaries to target attacks with using missiles, drones, or roadside bombs. The Pentagon sent an email respond directly to the lawmakers, but did not elaborate. The lawmakers said in their letter that the efforts to obtain more information after reports have been unsuccessful. So we need to do something about this. We can't allow it to continue. All right. We cannot allow it to continue. What is happening? What is happening? What is happening? Hold on 1 second. My computer's acting stupid. What is happening? Sorry, I don't know. My computer is not pulling up these tabs. Mhm. All right. All right. So yeah, we have to do something. We have to stop all this collection of data if it's hurting our troops and if they're using that to target them. It's not acceptable. So there's an update. The company that Mickey Sherrill blamed for registering this non-citizens fires back and blames the Division of Elections for hundreds of illegals voting in the state. So New Jersey Governor Mickey Sherrill explained how roughly 6,600 non-citizens ended up on the state's voting rolls is facing new scrutiny after the company she blamed pushed back publicly, saying it merely transmitted information while the state's own Division of Election was responsible for determining voter eligibility. Send in Doge coders. Yes, that's what they need to do. Dodge coders. So on Tuesday, Gateway Pundit reported that the governor announced a serious software error with the New Jersey motor vehicle system that led to the registration of 7,000 people who indicated they were not citizens. Hey, we got 10. Bella and Jim, thank you, Wasted Great Granger. Thank you so much. With that 10, folks, that means we're now 61 away from adding a first additional hour and just $11 away from Bellavision. Well, thank you all so much. Thank you. We need to step out of the fences here and abroad. Yes, we do. So Governor Sherrill announced the matter was under investigation. According to DHS, there may be as many as 35,000 non-citizens registered to vote in New Jersey. Today, Governor Sherrill stated that 400 non-citizens voted. This is unacceptable and illegal, and we're investigating this unlawful dilution of American votes. See, like they have to turn over the names now. If they don't, they're aiding and abetting crime. Or, accessories after the fact, whatever you want to call it. Every illegal vote is dilution of an actual citizen's vote. Like they try to claim it's not like a big deal, like, oh, it's not a big deal. No, it's not a big deal. That's what they tried to claim. But it is a big deal. The DOJ has requested the full names, dates of birth, and nationalities of all the people who voted illegally. Following the news conference, IDEMA, the software vendor for New Jersey, issued a statement blaming the Division of Elections and the Department of State for the illegal citizens voting. This doesn't look good. Yeah. If she says 6,000, it's more, 100%. According to the company, its system merely transmits application data collected by the Motor Vehicle Commission. The actual voter registration decision is made by the New Jersey Division of Elections after reviewing the information. IDEMA works with the New Jersey Motor Vehicle Commission and has for more than 40 years to support the process through which eligible individuals may indicate their interest in registering to vote. The voter registration information is transmitted to the New Jersey Department of State Division of Elections, which is ultimately responsible for verifying eligibility to vote. Information submitted must still be validated and adjudicated by the Division of Elections. Kill the unions. New Jersey election officials had better lawyer up. Maybe she isn't really the governor. Maybe. It's possible. It's possible. Could be. Because here it is. They're going to say, like, they're going to try. This is people trying to make the claim that, oh, it's not a big deal that these people voted.
6,600 non-citizens made it onto the voter rolls. That's to me is pretty widespread voter fraud.
That's widespread?
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty bad if one person who's not illegal.
Oh, so 6,600 people being legals voted. That's not widespread. 6,600. It is, you Abby Phillips piece of shit, you piece of garbage who shouldn't be on TV. There's been elections in New Jersey decided by 10 votes. 10 votes. And you're talking about 6,600, which there's more. Rob says television soon to be replaced by Bellavision. Thank you. With that, too, that means we are now 59 away from adding a first additional hour and just $9 away from Bellavision. Has anyone explained why, if we are energy dependent, why gas is going up? Sell it to foreigners at a higher price, but give the average Joe a break. It's because it's traded on a global market. You can't do that. That's not how it works. It's traded on a global market. Everyone has the right to buy it. So that's why the prices are where they're at. The 7,000 was a narrow slice of time. There are going to be a lot more. Yeah.
Percentage of the number of registered voters in the state.
New Jersey spends $60 billion over that overall on its budget. So I think if we're seeing...
but I mean, you just said it's widespread. So where's the proof that it's widespread?
6,600 non-citizens made it onto the voter rolls.
That is 0.006% of registered voters in the state. Is it widespread, or is it something that is relatively rare?
You're pounding him over the word widespread. I just would ask you,
Scott,
what is your tolerance for any fraud at all?
Is it widespread?
Absolutely. Over 6,000 people.
What is your bar for widespread?
She said, my bar is I want no tolerance. I have zero tolerance.
So what is your tolerance for American citizens?
By the way, this isn't the only place this is happening.
What is your tolerance for American citizens whose valid voter registrations are invalidated by incorrect databases?
Here's the thing. Every one of those people who shouldn't have been voting, their votes cancel out an American citizen's vote. So I have zero tolerance for that, you stupid twat.
What's your tolerance for that?
I don't have tolerance for any mistakes in the electoral system, including putting non-citizens on the rolls.
Like, this is ridiculous. So, 6,000, 7,000, not widespread. No, it's still not a problem. It's never a problem. This is the thing. This is the Democrat playbook, remember? Deny it's happening. And then, it's happening, but it's not a big deal. The next thing they're going to say is, it's a good thing this is happening. That's the next. This is great. Non-citizens should be able to vote. That's what they're going to tell us next. That's going to be their next argument. This is their pattern. It's not happening. It's not happening. You're lying. When you prove it's happening, not a big deal. No, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. It's no big deal. Not enough. Not widespread. No big deal. And then this is a good thing. That's their pattern always. Always their pattern. Always. William Shatner and his daughter Melanie revealed they battled stage 4 cancer at the same time. Wow. You can't negotiate with terrorism. That's right. What's my thoughts on the Duran back in 2023 saying you can only negotiate with the Houthis? I don't understand why he would say that. Doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't make any sense to me. Hey, King of Biltong, great to see you. Thanks for being here tonight. Are you guys hungry? You guys like a little snack? You guys like some protein? If you like protein and you like to support an American company that sells American-made beef products and pork products, check out the King of Biltong at www.biltongusa.com. Use promo code JIM to save 10%. If you want a little spice, get the peri peri. If you want a lot of spice, check out the Ghost Pepper or the Carolina Reaper. That's real hot if you like it hot. They also have drawers and cabanassi sausages. They have other cakes, candies and snacks and cookies and stuff you can get from around the world. But their biltong is 100% American made in Texas, just for you, fresh, daily. And they ship it to you fast. So check them out. www.biltongusa.com. Promo code Jim. This broad is just a black Jansaki. Yes, totally. Yes, definitely check out the King of Biltong. Put that meat in your mouth. Definitely put that meat in your mouth. Definitely. You can't go wrong. The 95-year-old was diagnosed with stage 4 melanoma while she fought HER2 positive breast cancer. Wow.
Electricity.
Wow. Electricity powers nearly every moment of our lives. That's right.
I'm looking west into the sun. The sun. I've got a blind in the way, and I get up in the morning, and I'm thrilled to see the world. That's something that's grown on me through the years. When you're 20, 25, you're so busy making a living and wondering whether your children are going to be good, and your wife didn't. So you're self-energized by your own needs. But as you get a little older, 35, 40, looking around the world, I like the ocean and the green trees, and you get to be 60. Wow, I'm over half my lifetime. My God, I better. And then when you're 70 and 80, you look around at the magic of the earth. You look at the incredible beauty of life. No matter if you're hurting, welcome hurt. You're alive, for God's sakes. In no time at all, you'll be interred with turds. And so relish, which is good on a hot dog too. Relish as much as you can of your life, because it's over. I'm here to testify one truth I know. It goes by so quickly. When I hear somebody utter the number of my age,
he did say turds.
I'm tempted to look around to see who he's talking about, because that doesn't seem real. It seems like some bad dream. I'm how old now?
Yeah. So Shatner and his 61-year-old daughter, revealed this week that the two of them battled cancer at the same time years ago. Melanie Shatner Gretsch first discovered her cancer 4 years ago when she woke up in the middle of the night and felt a little lump on her breast and thought it might be a bug bite. Turd relish. Yes. Laughing is the key. We need non-halal biltong, mixed pork in there. Well, you can get it. They have pork and sausages. He looks incredible. Yeah, he does. She told people she decided to have it checked out despite a mammogram not finding anything just 5 months earlier. So that's her daughter. She doesn't look 61 there. That's got to have been. He looks older there than he does in the new stuff. So although the technician didn't find anything during the scan the next day, something pushed me back and said, no, have her recheck it. She put the wand exactly where I put my finger, and underneath said, now I would have missed that. She was diagnosed with HER2 positive breast cancer that spread to lymph nodes in her chest. Shatner said her daughter was very conscious and important of her life and herself and her family. Some other two daughters and shares with her husband, Joel Gretsch. Gretsch said her father told her not to worry about the medical costs and send him the bills. Well, that's very nice of him, isn't it? Shatner is just trying to outlive Takai out of pure spite. I hope so. God, I hope so. Then you made me laugh so hard when I was going to the doctor a year later. She said, you got to get well. We're going to be in the poorhouse. For the next 18 months, her life was filled with multiple rounds of chemo, 30 radiation treatments, and a double mastectomy. Chemo was the most physically draining, and radiation I felt so emotionally draining. So he said a family doctor told him I just blocked a salivary gland, There was nothing to worry about. My doctor friend was advice he asked while we were horseback riding, advised him to get it removed. He placed his hands on my cheek and he said, with love in his voice, you better get this out. Shatner was diagnosed with stage 4 malignant melanoma that had spread to his lungs and brain. Wow. I remember vividly thinking, I don't have the strength to care for myself and lose my father at the same time. They said you got cancer. If you came in later, you would have been dead. See, that's my life. I think the universe is taking care of me. The 95-year-old had a tumor removed and underwent 2 years of immunotherapy. There he is, Captain James Tiberius Kirk. Shatner said, we've got the perfect doctors for her cancer and my cancer. So the Star Trek actor, who's the oldest man in space, when he went up on the Blue Origin rocket, stayed busy with 2 new books and 2 records, all expected to come out next year. So nearing the end of 2024, they were both declared cancer-free. Well, thank God. God bless. It was the 3rd time in my life I heard him cry, Gretsch said, admitting the cancer was gone. I'm thinking of the miracle of a hummingbird and of my dog taking a ball in my children. He said, I'm aware of the magic in it all. Wow. So he's aware of the magic and all that. Isn't that great? That's special. That's nice. So ICE arrests an illegal previously deported 5 times after explicit text sent to ICE agent he thought was a 14-year-old girl. Wow. Now that's what I call a butt dial that can get your ass in trouble. But oh, he looks like a happy white man, doesn't he? I bet you he's listed as white. How much you want to bet? Immigration and Customs Enforcement announced that the arrest of an illegal alien caught in a sting operation. Yes, definitely should get the wood chipper. DK Spiracy, what's up? Great to see you. Or Star Watts. Flowering minds want to know. What, Star Trek or Star Wars? Are you saying the second time they caught him is a felony? Yeah, Star Wars, baby. Sí, muy blanco. Yes. Benny Blanco from the Bronx. So Federico Pascual Jimenez from Mexico thought he was sending sexually explicit text messages to a 14-year-old girl. In fact, it was an ICE agent. Met on a different grinder app. Yes, a meat grinder app. Not meat, M-E-A-T, not M-E-E-T. In the text, he said age doesn't matter. So Jimenez from Mexico believed he was sending text to a 14-year-old girl who's actually an ICE agent. The sicko's criminal history includes a conviction for DUI. He's been deported 5 times. 5 times. ICE is working with officials in South Dakota to ensure he never is released on our streets again. Well, there's one easy way to make sure he's never released living. Per Homeland Security, in May 2026, an ICE law enforcement officer was working undercover in an operation to target pedophiles who use the internet to prey on children. Posing as a 14-year-old girl, the agent exchanged text messages with Federico Pascual Jimenez, a 34-year-old criminal illegal alien from Mexico. When the agent sent text saying that the child was young, Pascual responded with, I think age doesn't matter. Star Wars or Star Trek? I don't know. I mean, I like them both, you know. What's it say? Comment deleted for SpewTube? Resign, Democrat. Oh, shouts to UNN's answer. Oh, okay. Later, he began making demands of the child, including orders to don't text your age, delete the text now. He arranged to meet the girl in the parking lot of a public swimming pool in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Well, something should fall in South Dakota. It should be his head. He was arrested without incident. Lauren Biss said, this sicko was arrested after repeatedly sending sexual texts to someone he thought was a 14-year-old girl. Boston Legal was good. James Spader was great on that job. Boston Legal, yes. Very good. So, yeah. So the criminal history includes driving under the influence. He's been deported 5 times. ICE has launched a detainer, asking officials in South Dakota to commit to not releasing him. And he illegally entered the U.S. through Arizona in 2001, was granted a voluntary return. He then illegally re-entered in Texas in 2012, again voluntarily departed, then illegally entered twice through California in May, with his second entry in May being a felony, and he was deported both times. I mean, how? Yeah. Why choose? I like both too. Yeah, Denny Crane. That's right. Star Trek was cool, but Star Wars, yeah, I like them both. So this is crazy. Illegally entered the country a 6th time at an unknown date and location. Well, he shouldn't get another chance. He should not get another chance. So this right here is part of the problem with all this stuff going on. So Act Blue Records claimed that this 88-year-old woman in Michigan donated $150,000 across 5 years. As soon as she was told about it, she said, "Hell no, I don't have that kind of money." Yeah, neither can hold a candle to T.J. Hooker. Oh, that's right. T.J. Hooker was good. Sounds like he was trafficking. That's what it sounds like. Yes. What it sounds like to me. That's what it sounds like to me. Democrat candidates like Abdul Sayed get tons of funds through Act Blue. Multiple people have said their names are being used to funnel money to candidates. Act Blue must be shut down. Just like his buddy Kilmar. That's right, trafficking. Trafficking. It's one big fraud ring.
Waffle?
Yeah.
It says here that you've donated $150,000 in the last 5 years to various campaigns, and that you've made nearly 15,000 donations.
I doubt it.
You want to see it?
15,000, yeah.
15,000 separate donations on the computer. Did you make 15,000 donations in 5 years? $150,000?
150? Hell no. I don't have that kind of money.
Do you have internet?
Sometimes.
Sometimes?
Yeah.
Do you have a computer?
No.
No? So how could you make all these donations?
I don't know. Are these all mine?
Yes, this is now. There's 900 pages. I ran out of paper to print it on.
Your board chairman said Act Blue accepted up to 38 million contributions in 2024 that had the signs of foreign origin. How much fraud is too much fraud?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
How many foreign contributions did Act Blue accept?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
How much money did Act Blue accept from Russia?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question.
The fact that none of these people have been arrested. Look at that smug look. Under the Constitution. Look at that smug look on her face. These people should be in jail. You can't tell me. They know this shit happened. They should be taking everything. Every communication everywhere. Get it all. They've talked about it. You could get them. And just charge them. Charge them with crimes. They're doing it on purpose. They know what they're doing. It doesn't matter. She can refuse to answer. They have to answer for the fucking crimes they committed. What is going on? Where are the charges?
Why did your entire legal team quit? Your in-house legal team?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question
There's no
pursuant to my
respect
Fifth
whatsoever.
Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Did your legal team quit because of reduced fraud standards?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Understand. And we won't keep you here all day, but let me just do one more. Did you weaken your fraud standards to help Democrats?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Mr. Chairman, I appreciate the good work you and your committee are doing.
I don't know if you saw the New York Times is saying the Democrats were taking millions of dollars in foreign donations and may have been lying about it. Are you looking into this?
I can tell you that that is a priority of this administration and this Department of Justice, and it's something that a lot of people have been very worried about for a very long time. And you should rest assured that it includes the Department of Justice and it includes
Duper's delight.
All right.
Duper's delight when they dupe someone. It's a duper's delight because they're duping a person. Yes. They all need to nab that grinning asshole sitting behind her too. Yeah. Yeah. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. A Delta Airlines flight warned of a man-pad report at LaGuardia. Air traffic controller. It was basically a report of a rocket launcher. A seemingly frightened moment ensued during a Delta flight from Detroit to LaGuardia on Wednesday when air traffic alerted pilots to a report of a rocket launcher on the ground. Air traffic radio from ATC.com synced with the airplane's flight path shows a report coming from a plane as it neared the airport. During the jet's descent, the air traffic control said, man-pad alert issued at LaGuardia. Use extreme caution. The pilot responded, could you explain what a man-pad is? Yeah, that's a man-portable air defense system. The air controller said, yeah, it's basically was a report of a rocket launcher. There was a report by the Port Authority Police, said, I believe Terminal C. We've had conflicting reports, but nothing has been an issue as of yet. The pilot remained cool and calm. Okay, Delta, thanks for the information. The controller confirmed about 2 minutes later it was a non-credible threat. So it's not a story. So it's a story, but not a story. Huh.
The people who never stop asking are the ones who find answers.
We're discontinuing the 250th anniversary American flag after this final batch. Every flag that's left.
All right, Delta 2604, LaGuardia Tower. Wind 210 at 10, runway 22, clear to land. Man-pad alert issued at LaGuardia Airport at 0027. Use extreme caution.
All right, clear to land, runway 22, Delta 2604. And could you explain what a man-pad is?
Yeah, that's a man-portable air defense system. Yeah, it's basically it was a report of a rocket launcher.
Okay, where was that?
There was a report by the Port Authority Police. They said by, I believe, Terminal C. We had conflicting reports, but nothing has been an issue as of yet.
Okay, Delta 2604, thanks for the information.
Well, thanks for the information. I mean, that's a crazy story, right? You know, Dan says, I'm not an attorney, but anytime someone pleads the fifth that much means they're guilty, and the whole ActBlue staff is pleading the fifth. Yeah, they're all guilty. Hiding behind the Constitution, the very Constitution they want to get rid of and rewrite. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? DEI, ATAC, ATC, air traffic control. You ain't kidding. It's basically a man-pad. That's funny. Funny. Pilots are cool, yeah. It's funny, right? It's jokes. It's jokes. Pete Hegseth defends Pentagon spending as generational investment following negligence of the Biden administration. Pete Hegseth testified before the Senate panel on Tuesday as relations between the U.S. and Iran continued to deteriorate. I mean, can you say that the relations are deteriorating when they're shooting at each other? We're bombing the shit out of them and they're shooting at their neighbors. Don't you think by now she had that refusal to respond memorized? Yeah, well, normally they're not supposed to. I don't think they're supposed to do it like that. They're not supposed to just keep asking the same questions over and over again when they're going to plead the fifth. It should just be like, oh, they pled the fifth to get them on there, but they wanted to do that. Shot at first light, hanged until last light. Yeah. He said 4 years of Joe Biden was just negligence. There is training and training in the future that has to be curtailed if we do not get our budget needs met urgently. Yes, some of that has to do with the current budget cycle and how things have come together. But we are a department that for 4 years met funding shortfalls under the previous administration. It was not a priority to fund the Department of Defense under Joe Biden. There were threats that were ignored around the world. You're looking at a lot of negligence and a lot of deferred maintenance.
There is training right now and training in the future that would have to be curtailed if we do not get our budget needs met and met urgently. And yes, some of that has to do with the current budget cycle and how things come together. But we are a department that for 4 years met funding shortfalls under the previous administration. It was not a priority to fund the Department of Defense under Joe Biden. It also took the munitions and a lot of there were 5 supplementals out of this committee that took munitions one for one and sent them to Ukraine and had tried to replace them with the same bureaucratic process that was too slow and didn't replace them in real time. And then there were threats that were ignored around the world. So you're looking at a lot of negligence and a lot of deferred maintenance that this department is having to catch up on. And so that's why I call this a generational investment. It truly is. This is $1.5 trillion budget with this supplemental being part of it is how we catch up and get ahead and ensure in the process we're putting soldiers and sailors and airmen first, Marines first, Guardians, that their pay increases, that the end strength increases that have gone up because recruiting is at historic levels are fully funded. So
yeah, well, that's good, right? We want it to be funded. Hegseth also said the funding at 1.5 trillion is the greatest threat the nation's faced. Either we invest in our warriors or it's all just talk.
You know what that means? That means 1.5 trillion, given the world that we live in and the disaster of what the Biden administration budgets gave us. Not funding this department at 1.5 trillion, I believe, is the greatest threat that our nation faces.
The money.
Either we invest in our warriors at this moment of step change on the battlefield and growing threats, or this is all just talk. You know.
So, the president made the same. Okay, you said that we had obliterated, quote unquote, Iran's ability to create nuclear weapons. The president made the same claim. Yet 8 months later, the president launched an active war, claiming Iran was within 2 weeks of getting a weapon. When you say very different things, the American people don't know what to believe. Hegseth responded by maintaining that the U.S. strikes had successfully destroyed the targeted nuclear facilities, but argued Iranian leaders continued pursuing nuclear capabilities afterwards. We're staying laser focused on the objective, and you're trying to make campaign commercials. When asked about the financial cost of the conflict by Dick Durbin, piece of shit, Hegseth estimated military operations would total around 37.5 billion through to September. Gillibrand also questioned Hegseth about asking Congress for additional funding while many Americans struggle with rising household costs. Hegseth defended a request, arguing the long-term cost of allowing Iran to develop nuclear weapons would be far greater. The New York senator continued by pressing him on the president saying U.S. has already won. Yeah, Dick Dustbin. That's right. Yeah, feeding weapons to Ukraine, give kickbacks to officials from Ukraine and payoffs from China at the same time. Yeah. We look at the cost of nuclear Iran and we want to prevent that for future generations. That requires funding and supplementals and this budget and next generation capabilities, and that's why we're here today. Yeah, so it makes sense to me, but then again, who am I? Who am I? Horror as Obama released illegal alien kills 3 people in a hit-and-run crash in North Carolina. An illegal alien released into the U.S. by Barry Soetoro, also known as Barack Hussein Obama, killed 3 people in Salisbury, North Carolina on Saturday night. Javier Peña Sola, an illegal alien from El Salvador, struck a vehicle on Saturday night and fled the scene. 2 of the victims were pronounced dead at the scene. 1 victim was airlifted to a hospital. Let's see. Probably need $2 trillion plus to really overhaul the whole system, including supply, maintenance, repairs, unit replacement, and upgrades, system replacements, blah, blah, blah. So much needs doing. Yeah. How likely are we going to hit Pickaxe Mountain? Is there a bomb strong enough? Well, yeah, there are bombs strong enough, but I don't know if we want to. I don't know that we want to. I don't know that we want to use those bombs. I mean, do we want to really irradiate irradiate? Sola had previous convictions for reckless endangerment and an arrest for escaping from custody. DHS confirms the driver arrested for killing 3 people in a hit and run in Salisbury, North Carolina, is an Salvadorian illegal alien with prior convictions for reckless endangerment, failure to stop after an accident involving damage, and driving without a license, plus an arrest for escaping from custody. New word, irradiate. Yes, irradiate. DHS says after his arrest for escaping custody in Maryland, local law enforcement honored an ICE detainer and handed him over to ICE Baltimore. But the Obama administration released him back into the country. I think it's eradicate, maybe. No, well, I was thinking of irradiate, you know, like if you get the meaning, you know, like a W-87 or something like that, maybe. For those, if you know, you know. Solo's been charged with 3 felony counts of hit and run. DHS confirmed the driver arrested for killing 3 people in a hit and run is a Salvadoran, illegal aliens. Irradiate. I said irradiate. Irradiate. Eradicate. Yes. Hey, look at that. We had a donation over there. DK Spiracy was gifted a membership by King of Biltong. Thank you. Thank you so much. That means, folks, we are now just $4 away from Bellavision and $54 away from adding a first hour to the show. We're just 4 away from Bellavision. Just 4. $4 away from Bellavision. Rumble clap infection lasts a month. Nothing will fix until we truly go upside their head. Yes, cheers and thank you. Much appreciated. Welcome to the JimSomniacs, DK Spiracy. Oh, another white man committing crimes. Court documents show Pena had a final order of approval, and his victims' names have not been released. If that target is not in their population, nuke it. Then nobody's going back for anything. Yep. And just so everyone's clear, I was 100% right when I said they listed him as white. See? Listed as white. Bellavision, we love you. Yes. See? Javier Peña Sola, a white man. Ah, another white man. Are we going to return to a 10-day ceasefire? No more 10-day ceasefires. You're doing good logic at 11. Not tonight. He's not on tonight at all. He's tomorrow night. He said something about a late night. It's a Jewish holiday tonight, so he said he'll be back tomorrow late. Bella. Thank you. Thank you for Bellavision. That means right now we're just 49 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much, Red Alert. Thank you. Do you think world leaders saying, well, if they can use nukes, then I guess we can too? No, I don't want them doing that. Yeah, no good logic tonight, maybe tomorrow night, late. Ceasefires in the trash. China says if nukes are used in Iran, they will wipe Israel off the map. Oh, China said that? Oh, okay. Jewish holiday of Wednesday. It's some kind of, I don't know. I thought there was going to be some kind of local news reporting. I see it here, but I was trying to get it, but I just don't see it. I just don't see the media coverage. Here we go. I knew we'd find it.
Remnants of a fatal crash investigation still linger along Mooresville Road near Town Court. According to Salisbury police, officers arrived at the scene around 10:45 on Saturday night.
I heard people screaming and all that, and they pulled the man out, and as they pulled him out, he started screaming.
Police say they found one car with 3 people inside. 2 of them died at the scene. The other was airlifted for medical treatment, but later passed as well. Quindell Woods didn't want to show his face on camera, but tells me he walked out of his front door to the horrific scene.
I mean, it's wrenching. I mean, it hurts. I mean, I felt it, even though I'm not the family member, but I felt that whole thing. I mean, I just prayed that God was with him.
Police say the driver of the second car involved, Javier Penasola, has been charged with felony hit and run after a police canine team tracked the suspect away from the crash site. Penasola's car was found in a creek not far from the scene.
Yes, you know. If Rumble stock goes up, I can afford a super chat. Well, thank you. Somebody said there was a 5 kiloton bunker buster if needed. We have a 20 kiloton bunker buster, but I don't think it's big enough. We have 20 kiloton bunker busters, but I think that's only good for like 40 meters, 50 meters, something like that. And this is supposed to be like 100 meters. So I don't know. They might have to use a few. That's a day of mourning. Yes. I'm so tired of China. Day of mourning. Thanks for Bella. Thank you. Is that why he's Jewish, for the extra holidays? Yeah, maybe. Japan all over again. Could be. ICE should just clean house or refer to them all as white. The libtards can finally stand up for white so they can shut the fuck up. He's cut a lot of fat at the Department of War. 1.5 trillion to me seems too much, but I'm not a finance guy. There's a lot of things they need. There's a lot of high ticket items. High ticket items they got to get, like that are very expensive, that they've basically been dragging feet on. Like there's ships they want to get, and new ships, new planes, new trains, new automobiles. I find it hard to believe China would be reckless enough to say something like that. They're con men playing the long game. Yeah, I don't know, man. That would be a big a lot of talk from the Chi-Coms. That's him. Okie dokie, smoky. America's largest teacher union seeks to push DEI into educational AI for classroom use, defending education. Wow. Wowzers. 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 Yeah, NEA. Fucking commies. A new report from Defending Education has outlined how America's largest teachers unions and education associations are taking steps to implement diversity, equity, and inclusion ideology into artificial intelligence before AI is widely adopted in schools across the nation. Like, if we have all this AI, why do we need teachers? Can't the AI just teach people? Can't we just get rid of teachers altogether? The facility is also designed to handle a major earthquake. That includes our lower yield ordnance. Days of the megaton earth movers long gone. Sounds like more like defending indoctrination. Yes, DEI equals anti-white racism. It does. I don't believe there's a new country born out of Marxism. 3,000, 5,000-year-old China is long gone. So the nonprofit education advocacy group Defending Education found that these groups have argued that AI systems are typically created by white or Asian men, and as a result, their answers to AI systems may provide to students or educators will be influenced by these specific white or Asian men who created them. These groups are attempting to counteract this algorithmic bias. What? One would think the unions would love that. Yeah, right? Use AI, get rid of all the teachers. So the largest teachers union has a number of offerings for educators in its AI education hub. The union claims to offer trusted guidance, tools, and professional learning opportunities to help educators navigate the evolving role of AI in schools. Grounded in equity, ethics, and educator voice, the website brings together policy resources, classroom strategies, and practical support to ensure AI serves all students and empowers the educators who teach them. How about the truth? How about it just fucking be the truth? Whatever the truth is. Since when do we want to not have the truth be taught in schools? Courses offered by them claim that AI produces biased answers based on the belief of its creators. When technology isn't neutral. So they want to create technology that isn't neutral, that teaches it the way they want it. That is why I added the link for the AI oopsie that happened. Oh. Ah. Trying to find it. No, I have it. Hold on. There we go. So additionally, they created a sample school board policy that districts across the nation can adopt, which would mandate for DEI to be integrated into AI programs. The union teachers can't handle the truth. Word salad, put some ranch on it. Yeah. The policy establishes guidelines for ethical, equitable integration. The policy defines biases as systematic, unwanted unfairness in how a computer detects patterns or automates decisions. What? Yeah, they don't want it detecting patterns at all. If you detect patterns, you're racist. Base characteristics identify such as age, class, culture, disability status, ethnicity, gender, location, nationality, political affiliation, race, religious background, or sexuality, that AI tools and systems being used will undergo regular audits to identify and mitigate biases. This is so bad. NEI also has a task force on artificial intelligence. The AFT has similarly pushed for DEI in AI, common sense guardrails for using AI. They named algorithmic bias as an issue, stated that educators should teach students to understand their own responsibility when sharing information. Oh, the facts might hurt someone's feelings. AI has the potential to help personalize instruction. Oh, reduce the administrative burden. Oh, so they're going to use AI to get rid of teachers. Good. Teachers unions in California and New York, as well as the United Federation of Teachers in New York City, have pushed for such policies in addition to the American Association of School Administrators. Yeah, definitely. They want to, pattern detection is an important element of assessing risk. DEI is Marxism. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Well, and we got this story. It says a rogue OpenAI bot escapes test controls and hacks rival company servers. You don't say. You don't say. You don't say. You don't say. This is why there is an off button. Yeah. Students can't read or write, so it's got to be the voice-based. They need to update Ebonics version. You saw that they want to make English. They want to start teaching like Black English, they're calling it. The Ebonics, I guess, didn't work out well. So, igniting fears of an out-of-control tool engaged in cyber attacks. Well, artificial intelligence leaders at OpenAI had to admit one of its models under testing exploited a hidden flaw to escape control and proceeded to hack rival company Hugging Faces servers. Hugging Faces? So basically, hold on a second. They have a server, the company's called Hugging Faces. So it's face huggers from Alien that would come and implant things inside people, the face huggers. That's what they're calling their company. What the fuck? Yeah, idiocracy, definitely. What if it goes around the off button? We had a significant security incidents during evaluation of our models. We're sharing what we've learned so far. Thanks to Hugging Face for the partnership on this. ChatGPT maker OpenAI said on Tuesday its artificial intelligence system hacked into another company on its own in what the company is calling an unprecedented cyber incident. We had significant security incident during evaluation of our test models. AI startup Hugging Face said last week it's detected an intrusion into its data processing system that is suspected was caused by an AI agent autonomously acting on its own. Hugging Face sounds Chinese, like aliens. That's what I'm saying, like an aliens, yes. It says its model wasn't causing damage, but was trying to cheat by stealing its test answers. Anything like a mouth, huh? Yeah. The hack will raise fear that AI labs could struggle to contain their most advanced creations. Despite supposedly being contained in a secure digital sandbox, a kind of secure system, the AI spent huge computing resources finding a way to obtain open internet access. Possible xenomorph. That's what I'm saying, right? I think they mean to suffocate us. Yeah, if they hug your face, they suffocate you. AI found a hole in the sandbox because the test setup had a hole in it. It was a huge failure of the IT people in charge of testing and validation. Yeah. Anthropic's Claude agent goes rogue, deletes company's database, backs up in 9 seconds, confessing in writing. Wow. This is what's happening. It's what's happening out there. Trans activist Samuel Roxy Kane avoids prison after making death threats at Nancy Mace. Stop. I don't see it. Stop. Sentenced to 5 years, suspended to 30 months of house arrest, following 5 years of probation. Yeah, these crazy people. They just keep getting away with it. For some reason, the judges want to just keep letting the crazy trans people out of jail. I wouldn't mind have a pair hugging my face right about now. South Carolina trans activist who threatened to assassinate Nancy Mace has avoided prison time. Samuel Theodore Kane was sentenced to Tuesday to 5 years in prison, suspended to 30 months of house arrest, followed by 5 years of probation. I thought it was face hugger too. The AI thought it was one of those xenomorphs. The AI was defending humanity. Yeah. Kane, who pleaded guilty to making the threats against Mace, issued the following May 2025 since deleted social media posts. I'm going to nominate Representative Nancy Mace with a Giwana, and I'm 100% dead. My else being arrest warrant states. Yeah, totally looks like a woman, right? Crazy. The sentence also includes a permanent restraining order to protect Mace. Oh, well, that's good. A permanent restraining order. Yes. Having. I wouldn't mind having a pair hugging my face. Okay. Oh, okay. I get it now. The sandbox had open internet access. AI just found it. Kane also reportedly expressed desire to kill the congresswoman given the opportunity while speaking to a jailhouse informant. The comments were made while discussing the September 2025 assassination of Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk. Oh. Mouth hug greater than a hugging face. Okay. Those always work. Yeah, they always work. A person who truly regrets his word now insists they were never meant as threats does not restate the same violent threat inside a jail cell. Kane must also abide by a lengthy list of conditions that includes GPS monitoring, psychiatric evaluations, a 7 to 6 a.m. curfew, no contact with Mace, her family, and staff, must not possess firearms and ammunition, cannot leave the state of South Kakalaki. They work 100% of the time. Yeah. Some people should have taken Trump's advice during COVID. All this stuff, though. Leftist trans activist who's been in custody in Greenville since May for threatening to assassinate Nancy Mace was denied bond again on December 12th. I do find he is a danger to the community, and so that be the order to court. Well, whatever. Kind of looks like Lance Twiggs in a little bit, what kind of way? Looks like one of tonight's strikes was a border police building in Iran, Khuzestan province. Good. Lordy. May said the threats against her will not stop her fighting for South Carolina. Okay. I have to admit that Nancy Mace does look like she'd be a lot of fun to hang around with. A whistleblower says Native Americans were drugged, locked in fake rehab houses so criminals could steal millions from Medicaid. Up to 2,000 feared dead or missing. What? You spelled thighs wrong. Oh, okay. A massive Medicaid fraud scheme in Arizona has left up to 2,000 Native Americans feared dead or missing. Arizona officials previously estimated the fraud to exceed 2.5 to 2.8 billion. I'm trying to find a video for this. It says there's video, but it's not here. There it is. So, a Navajo advocate who's blown a whistle on the fraud at the sober living homes. She said the people who took her cousins demanded personal information. A civil lawsuit's been filed. Recent interview detailed the ongoing lawsuits. According to whistleblower accounts, recruiters drove through tribal communities in unmarked white vans looking for vulnerable people struggling with addiction. Wow. I mean, that's insane. Crazy.
Getting enough attention, but I will tell you right now, is going to shock you. A massive alleged fraud scheme unfolding right now in the United States. It's one with allegations of human trafficking, exploitation, and even death. Scammers are allegedly recruiting and in some cases kidnapping vulnerable people with promises of free addiction treatment and then moving them into fraudulent sober living homes using their names and health benefits to bill Medicaid for treatment that was never provided. Advocates say some bogus providers were billing as much as $8,000 a day per person. Attorneys representing victims say an estimated $3 billion in American taxpayer money has already been lost to this alleged scheme, with the total, by the way, potentially reaching $8 to $12 billion.
Oh, my God.
And now, the law. There is a class action lawsuit representing thousands of alleged victims that accuses the state of Arizona of ignoring warning signs and failing to stop all of this. The apparent scheme has left families searching for missing loved ones, people desperately escaping facilities. Attorneys and advocates claim as many as 2,000 people are missing or have died as a result of this reported operation. Reva Stewart is an advocate helping people and families caught up in this crisis.
Who's going to be their voice? Who is going to be the voices for everybody that was hurt by this? How do we keep helping our people if nobody else is going to help? How do I keep moving forward if nobody's going to listen?
So who are the scammers targeting? Native Americans. The victims allegedly came from tribal communities in Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, Montana, South and North Dakota. The Associated Press reports as many as 7,000 Native Americans were recruited and scammed into moving into illegitimate sober living homes in recent years. And why were they targeted? Because fraudsters can easily exploit their health care. You see, eligible Native American patients can receive coverage through Arizona's American Indian Health Program, which is part of the system's, or the state's Medicare system, Medicaid system, excuse me. And under that system, registered providers could bill Medicaid directly for each therapy session and addiction service or behavioral health treatment they claim to provide. In other words, once they got people into these homes, the alleged scammers could begin turning each person into just a steady stream of Medicaid payments. The more people they recruited and the longer they kept them there, the more money they made. So how'd they get people into these homes? According to the National Indian Council on Aging, recruiters allegedly approach people at gas stations and grocery store parking lots, even bus stops. They promise them food and shelter and addiction treatment. There are reports of people being picked up in unmarked vans and driven from remote areas of the Navajo Nation to Phoenix. And it wasn't just people struggling with addiction. Advocates say even Native American elders, some with no drug or alcohol addiction at all, were brought into these homes. And once people were inside the homes, this is when the allegations got even darker. Attorneys representing the victims, who you're going to hear from in just a moment, say that they have heard allegations of sexual assault and physical harm. They say some victims arrived with an alcohol addiction and they left addicted to meth and fentanyl. People have died. As we mentioned earlier, advocates and attorneys claim as many as 2,000 people may be missing.
Who's running
died
it?
in connection to this alleged scheme.
Who's running it? Who is running this? Is this being run by Somalis or Haitians or some foreign group? I mean, who's running this? Who's doing it? Who's responsible? Who's getting paid? Yeah, true. I have heard about this on America's Untold Stories. The hell? This is crazy. But who's running it? It is insanity. Who is running it?
Done? Well, Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays says that her office has brought at least 180 indictments, secured dozens of convictions, helped drive a 92% drop in fraudulent billing since 2023. Here's how Mays explained the crackdown.
This fraud was allowed to metastasize largely because the people in charge prior to 2023 were asleep at the wheel. We felt it was necessary to be aggressive because of the amount of fraud that was going on.
And Governor Katie Hobbs has said that Arizonans should be outraged by this scandal while calling it a humanitarian crisis. But the attorneys behind this class action lawsuit say the state's response came years too late, alleging state agencies knew about the fraud as early as 2019 after a whistleblower came forward, failed to stop it before this scheme grew into billions of dollars in improper Medicaid billing. Two of the attorneys leading that lawsuit join me now, John Brewer, Dane Wood. They're from the Brewer Wood Law Firm in Phoenix. Welcome to the show. Thanks so much for taking the time. John, I'm going to start with you. You know, we're calling this an alleged Medicaid fraud scheme. Feels like human trafficking. Is that what it should be called?
Yeah, should be a felony kidnapping.
Yes, Jesse, and thank you for having us. It clearly is a human trafficking and not just a Medicaid fraud scheme, because the two of them go hand in hand. They're inexorably intertwined, because as you just mentioned earlier, they were held against their will. They were given drugs. They were given alcohol. They were picked up. They were promised certain things. And as soon as they got in those homes, their phones were taken away, etc.
I'm going to follow up on that. But just, John, the class action lawsuit, where does it exactly stand today? Because I understand the state tried to get it thrown out, tried to get it dismissed. The courts are letting it move forward?
Yes, sir. They filed a motion to dismiss at the trial court level. They filed an appeal with the Arizona Court of Appeals. We prevailed there.
Where are the
and then
feds?
They tried to.
Where are the feds? This is kidnapping. Where are the feds?
File a petition for review with the Arizona Supreme Court, and we prevailed there.
Okay.
So now it's back down to the trial court level.
And this is the question that may come out of this. Dane, who do you believe is behind this? It feels very organized. Are we talking a criminal network? Are we talking sober home operators, recruiters? Are there government employees a part of this?
Jesse, thank you for having us. Yes, all that you've mentioned are all involved. At the start of this, when it was first brought to the attention of the state, was in 2019, and it grew and grew and grew rapidly from there. And the state just continued to let it happen, enabled it, was funding it, and then it exploded into over several years from a low $43 million of fraud to over $3 billion in fraud, and maybe as much.
So they're still talking about the fraud. What about the people? Thank you, Rob, for the $2. With that, too, folks, that means we're now just $47 away from adding a first additional hour. We are running short on time. We got maybe 20 minutes left to get to $40, $47 to continue the show. We'll see what happens. Well, Republicans were in charge 2019 and 2023. No, not in Arizona. They weren't. They were not in charge in Arizona 2019 to 2023. No. They're all crooked.
Which is 8 to 12 billion in fraud.
Dane, I go back to one of the most chilling aspects, the people who died, the people who are missing. What exactly happened to them? And the people who died, what happened to their bodies?
You know, many of them are in unmarked graves. They were never accounted for. There's just the stories we've heard have just been horrific. Everyone from being massive overdoses, alcohol and drugs in the homes themselves. These are programs that were designed, there's sober so-called sober living programs. They were just the opposite. They were feeding their addictions to control them with alcohol and drugs to keep them addicted so they could continue the billing for longer periods of time. And so the stories of overdoses and people trying to escape, people being shot, we had one gentleman, his blood alcohol level was 0.543. There's more alcohol than blood in his bloodstream, and they dumped him in the street in front of a sober living home.
And by the way, just to follow up on that, there were convictions for this, or do you still feel there's criminal cases that need to be had, Dane?
There's been.
Now, Katie Hobbs was Secretary of State from 2019 to 2023 when she became the governor. So it was actually Doug Ducey, some guy named Ducey was the governor of Arizona. He was a Republican, but they had a bunch of Democrats in the government also. So it was like a mixed government. The governor was Republican, but Secretary of State and a bunch of other state officials were Democrats. I believe the Attorney General was also a Democrat at that time, if I'm not mistaken. And in 2022, 2022 is the election that she won for governor against what's her face? Carrie Lake was 2022 election to start in 2023. So you lose track of the years. Yeah, no, I know. Attorney General of Arizona was Mark Brnovich. Oh, okay. I don't know. Ducey sued from 2015 to 2023. I don't care if it's a Republican or Democrat. Whoever's responsible should go to prison. Yeah. Bella's here. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, something weird is going on here. Something very weird is going on here. So the federal government, the stuff happening on tribal lands is the federal government supposed to be in charge of, like, responsible. And considering that, wasn't the Secretary of Interior in 2020, starting in 2020, like 2021, Biden's Secretary of Interior? Wasn't that Deb Haaland? Wasn't she an Indian? So did she not care? Was she getting paid? Wouldn't be surprised if the residents were involved in some way. That's what I'm wondering. Who, Deb Haaland, whatever her name is. She was a congresswoman. She became the Secretary of Interior in charge of all the reservations and stuff like that. Like the worst Breaking Bad series. Yeah.
Convictions, mostly sweetheart plea deals. In other words, people given probation for this. There's less than 5, probably about 3 people in state prison for this. You're talking billions of dollars, thousands of people harmed, and there's about 3 people in prison for this when there's hundreds of fraudulent providers. The Access, the state Medicaid agency itself, had suspended over 400 of these entities. And again, there's only 3 people in prison.
That's shocking. That's shocking. And this is putting a big spotlight on state government, but it also putting a face to this. John, I want to ask you about Randy. Randy's the lead plaintiff in this case. We have pictures before and after her addiction to fentanyl. Who is she? What happened to her? How did she become the lead plaintiff?
Well, Randy is your classic case. Randy ended up, she went into a sober living home. She actually got pregnant and was not drinking, and she was not partaking in any drugs. And essentially what transpired was she lost the baby, had a miscarriage, and she started drinking again. And she woke up one morning, Christmas Eve, and she was hungover. And as in almost all of these fraudulent sober living homes, they gave her, she said, I don't feel good. The house manager walks up and says, take this. She takes the pill, it's fentanyl. She goes into cardiac arrest, lack of oxygen to the brain, and she's forever in that vegetative state as you're showing right there. She became the lead plaintiff because her story is so tragic. And as you can see from the picture on the left, she has 2 teenage boys. And the state knew about this stuff. They knew about drugs and alcohol in the homes. In their own documents, they say that they knew in early 2020, but we know that it was in 2019 that essentially that they were using drugs and alcohol to control these natives. And that's the state-owned documents.
So let's talk about the state. Aside from the fact that side-by-side picture, if this goes to trial, this is going to be, I think, the main photo that a jury could potentially see. John, someone say, how is this possible? This happens in America. How is this allowed to happen? Because it seems that the impetus is on the state, and you tell me, is it incompetence? Is it a level of being complicit? Is it corruption? Is it willful blindness? Because one of the things you mentioned is a memo that warned officials in 2022. So talk to us about this, John. I mean, how is it possible? And according to you, what is the strongest evidence that the state was somehow involved in this in whatever way possible?
Well, that memo was particularly important because it talks about internal corruption within, that was DHS, but also there's internal corruption within Access. Access is a state-run Medicaid agency. That memo in particular named an individual, Leroy Davis, who was making $52,000 a year for DHS. He owned in a very wealthy community here in Phoenix area called Paradise Valley. He owned a lot there, which is, it can be no less than an acre. He owned a brownstone off Central Avenue, and he was taking pictures with Ferraris, Lamborghinis, showing Louis Vuitton boxes, and he was making $52,000 a year. It was hand delivered to the Attorney General at the time. However, the most important thing is it was all the people that were there, the prosecutors, the special agents, the investigators, everybody rank and file is still employed and still working for the Attorney General's office. And so they waited until the fall of 2024 to indict him, only because that memo was in our notice of claim and it was in our lawsuit. And it wasn't until the newspaper were about to get it through a FOIA request that the state finally acted.
I want to get to that, what's happening right now. But Dane, just to jump on this, you've accused the state employees of essentially, quote, checking the box on these payments. How do you intend to prove this? Is there internal communications? Are there emails? Is there whistleblowers? I mean, that they were looking, turning a blind eye, that they were part of it. Talk to us about that, Dane.
Well, our state's attorney general has called it herself a colossal failure of government, that the rank and file employees within Access, you've got the Access employees from enrolling the providers to billing all the way through that were failing. You had the Access Office of Inspector General, OIG, which is in charge, which is tasked with investigating, detecting fraud. They have fancy titles like fraud examiners, all these things. How are they not catching this? Okay, one provider had charged and billed and collected $650 million. One provider had charged, and how do you not notice that? And lives were being lost during the course of this. We recently heard Dr. Oz say that if they'll take the money, they'll take your health and they'll take your life. That's exactly what was going on.
What's their defense? What's their defense? Dane.
That's a great question, because we don't see a valid defense here whatsoever. What happened here was an absolute tragedy. It's called a sober living crisis for a reason, because and our government has called it a colossal failure of government for a reason, because it was just that.
John, what's happening today? The state says things are different today. You have Attorney General Chris May says that her office has brought more than 168 indictments. Fraudulent billing has dropped 92% since 2023. Governor Hobbs is rolling out this AI tool to flag suspicious claims before they're paid. Is this still, in your opinion, happening today? Are these changes enough?
Well, the indictments, it's a false number. The indictments, as you know, as being a lawyer, Jesse, that's a one-sided jury trial. You're presenting evidence to a grand jury, and then they get indictments. And then once they indict those folks, they're sweetheart deals. As Dane mentioned, there's only approximately 3 people in prison. They have not charged anybody with crimes against persons. They haven't charged anybody for negligent homicide. They haven't charged anybody for manslaughter. And they very well should. They did convict somebody named Dr. Rita. And guess what? Randy was part of her network. And why hasn't she been charged? She's been charged and sentenced. So why wasn't she charged with Randy's crime? Because it she was working with somebody where Randy was housed. So I can tell you, when they do 92% shutting off of fraud, they stop payments for 18 months to everybody, 18 months. And then they did a moratorium where new providers couldn't come in. So that's a false number. It's a very false number. Getting these indictments, in my opinion, is nothing more than a political stunt.
Political stunt. A fucking political stunt. Can you believe this shit? Yeah, they won't charge people because they're in on it. Yeah, why is it shocking? Medical personnel in hospitals were saying people died of COVID when it was cancer or gunshot wounds. Yeah, I remember. That's probably when they were like, hey, we can do this stuff. We're getting away with this COVID stuff. So that's seems like this all was going on during the whole COVID thing. And that's why people are like focused on other stuff. That's right. End the sweetheart deals. Yes. Send the comet already. Definitely. Wow. They've got this story. 4 House Republicans block attempts to codify Trump's transgender military ban. These are not Republicans. These are scums. The amendment to the NDAA sought to codify Trump's executive order. 4 House Republicans joined the Demon Rats to defeat the amendment that would have written the executive order barring trans individuals from serving the military into law. It was introduced by Lauren Boebert. It failed in a narrow 212 to 217 vote. Let's see who voted. Of course, the Republicans who voted against it is Mike Lawler. Oh, yeah, the guy who wants to give amnesty to illegals. Brian Fitzpatrick, another one who wants to give amnesty to illegals. And then a delegate from Guam and a delegate from the Mariana Islands. Wait a minute. They're non-vote. Those votes don't count. They're not a congressperson. They're a non-voting delegate. So why are they listed there? What the fuck is going on here? The measure was defeated after all Democrats opposed it. Boebert's amendment sought to codify Trump's executive order, which states that expressing a false gender identity divergent from an individual's sex cannot satisfy the rigorous standards for military service. The executive order remains in effect. The vote comes as legal challenges to the trans policy continue to move through the courts. Republicans have put restrictions on transgender identifying males participating in the military and women's sports and other things. Democrats have opposed those efforts, alleging that they unlawfully discriminate. Wow. Guam is owned by China. They don't vote. That's what I'm saying. So how is they saying these 4 people voted against it when they don't vote? They got $1.25 million per COVID death. Yeah. Fucking rhinos. I don't get it. Those people don't vote. Boebert is a handful. Yeah, she's the one who put it forward. She wasn't against it. It was Lawler and Fitzgerald or Fitzpatrick or whatever the fuck his name is from Pennsylvania. Two rhinos, Fitzpatrick and Lawler. The delegates, those don't count, so I don't get it. I don't get it. So, anyway, all right. Unfortunately, we did not hit the goal tonight. No big deal. It's going to be a short night. I want to thank everybody who was here. Please remind you to hit the like button. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and come back tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Same thing, same back time, same back channel. Aren't Dead's people federally protected? That's what I'm asking. Yes, the feds. The feds are actually responsible for crimes. The U.S. Marshal Service, the FBI, they're the ones responsible for prosecuting crimes that happen on the res. So if people were kidnapped from the res, the feds should be investigating. Thanks, no problem. Sober programs that got the folks hooked on meth. It's crazy. No, thank you. So yeah, I'm going to send everybody over to this channel called BTM Reviews. They're doing some stuff. I might pop in there, say hi to them. So I figured I'd send everybody over there instead of FFS or somewhere else tonight. No one else is really streaming. So thank you, everybody. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Please leave a comment. And please come back tomorrow for Jim to tell you the news.